Hello, I am the Sad Comedian, and this is my channel, The Howling Laughter. So today's show is called Don't Be a Dog, like Richard Dawkins, or Respect the Ancients, because people always thought the ancients, they were close to God. God gave them all the wisdom. Now, can we give the ancients sort of half an ounce of brain? They explained the world through religion. We explain the world through science. Religion is science. Imagine this. Imagine, in the ancient days, there's a tribe, they live in a certain patch of land, and because their forefathers lived there, they didn't really feel like moving a lot, right? But one nice day, the berries on the trees that they were living on, they ran out. No more berries. So they had to go to another place, find new berries. And then they get to these new berries and they've never seen these berries before. And now they had to do a scientific experiment with the aim to find out, are these berries sacred to some god who would smite them in the guts if they eat of them? Now you might smile at that, but today we know cyanide is poisonous. How do we know? Because some guys gave it to their mother-in-law. Because soldiers with sensitive information on their mind carry cyanide capsules to kill themselves in case they fall into enemy hands. But why is it poisonous? Can we really explain that? You can Google it if you like. And you will find sites that tell you about soldiers carrying cyanide. You can find some sites with a lot of ancient Greek and Latin words on it that are meant to make up an explanation. And you can believe that explanation. You can learn to say those ancient Greek and Latin words and tell other people about it if you like. And that'll be really impressive, right? Really cool. Yeah. But does that really mean you understand what you're reading there? Science is religion. Believing is religion. If you believe in what you find on Google, on Wikipedia, or wherever else, you cross-reference a couple of sites, you are believing. You are doing religion. Today in science we teach kids that it wasn't God who created the world. There's the Big Bang Theory. So we teach them everything, The bricks in these buildings here, they have been squashed into a place smaller than a millimeter across. In fact, the whole Earth has been squashed into a place smaller than a millimeter across. Our whole solar system, the sun, all the planets, Jupiter and all, have once had been squashed into a place smaller than a millimeter across. In fact, our whole galaxy has been squashed into this tiny place. And all the other galaxies also, into a space smaller than a millimeter across. So what fits there in between my thumb and finger? Can you imagine that? Then, for some odd reason, all this exploded and created a lot of radiation. Like in an explosion, there's a little bit of fire, yeah. And out of this radiation, matter condensed, whatever that might mean. And then, this has to do with E equals mc squared. Albert Einstein. So that must be right. We got to believe that. Yeah, Albert Einstein. Now, how is this more likely than Harry Potter pushing his luggage trolley into the brick wall at the railway station and ending up on platform 9 3/4 or whatever it was? Huh? I don't know. So, would you, without looking it up, without going to Google now, be able to name 3 pieces of evidence for the Big Bang Theory or for the theory of evolution? Would you be able to do it? Or do you just believe those theories because scientists are always right? Now, one thing with science is progress. Without science, we wouldn't have computers. We wouldn't have YouTube. You couldn't watch weird guys talk nonsense. But the pace of progress is picking up, getting faster and faster and faster and faster. So in the old days, they were scared of progress because when they go into an area with new berries, they had to do this experiment. And whoever volunteered to eat these berries first, that person might die. So it's good to stick with the old wisdom of the ancients. These are good berries. You eat them because your father and your grandfather and his father, they all ate them. You better eat those berries. Okay? That's good for you. Yeah, we know that. So, but that's just the way it was. Now these days, progress has picked up quite a bit. Did you know at Galileo's time, there was the calendar reform, right? 1582. It took nearly 200 years to come up with the improvement to the calendar. An improvement 10 days in 1,600 years. 0.0017% improvement. Now, that's excellent by today's standards. And if in those days you would have wanted to become a Jesuit monk, apart from studying the Bible, you also had to study maths. Fancy that. Huh? Now, but progress picks up even more. These days we have several unbelievable innovations in one lifetime. You know? Oh, and that's not just computers. Okay. When I was a kid, there were no computers. An uncle of mine was a bank manager. And when I wanted to study IT, he told me that there is no future in computers. That's what this bank manager said to me. Now, then there were calculators. For those people who can't remember, the times tables. And now every couple of years we got new operating systems. And everything gets fancier and fancier. We can talk to our computers. They do what we tell them. It's not only that we don't have to write anymore, we don't have to read anymore. They can read out to us what we need to hear. Soon we don't have to read and write anymore. We can rely on computers, provided we have computers. I'm not quite sure how people would make computers without reading and writing. I sort of find thinking very helpful, I have notes, yeah. Anyway, but there are other areas where technology really advances. Agriculture. The stupid peasants. Yeah. Today, we get out of a square meter of soil much more than the people got in the Middle Ages. There's technology to agriculture. But the worrying thing about it is the farmers always have to buy their seed. The fruit that they grow often is infertile. They can't just keep of the old harvest and sow again with that. In Israel, they found a way to make artificial chook meat. Right? In the laboratory. Now, here is a case for the animal rights activists. Is it good for a chook to live in a cage, or is it good not to live at all? All right? But what if this goes wrong? What if we rely on this and we overpopulate the world more and more and more and get more and more out of a little square meter of soil and make artificial meat? Suddenly, all this, for some reason, doesn't work anymore. Some university where this knowledge is might be destroyed. People don't know anymore. They would have to redo all this research, and they can't do that from today to tomorrow. So progress picks up, but the danger with progress is in its speed. Prehistoric, ancient days, progress was a snail's pace. Galileo's time, maybe it was at the pace of an Arab racehorse. Today, it might be at the pace of a Ferrari. But what if you have an accident? What are the consequences then? 1985, I was speaking to a pharmacy student. Did you know the word pharmacy comes from an ancient Greek word, pharmakeia, which means witchcraft. That stuff for which they burnt you in the Middle Ages. Right? Now, in 1985, he told me that there's no problem with bacterial immunity against antibiotics because pharmacists will always find new antibiotics. It'll always go on. It'll be a battle, but we'll always win. That's what he said to me in 1985. Today we know there is a problem with resistant bacterial strains emerging all over the world. So, is there the beginning of a Ferrari accident? So, I hope you enjoyed that. Now this is my hat. Unfortunately, you can't give me any coins through the internet, but at the end of this clip, there'll be my PayPal details. Sad comedian. Double M. Remember, I'm a comedian. I can't spell. And you could give me 1 or 2 or 3, whatever you got. Dollars, euros, pounds. Let's say you just give me 1. And this symbol here, that stands for nothing. You can click that as often as you want.